Hi everyone, I hope you've had a good week. We're back in the greenhouse today and we're going to be having a look at a common problem at this time of year, which is leggy seedlings. And I've let a tray of seedlings go a little bit too far here and get leggy. And we're going to have a look today at what you can do to rescue them. So when your seeds germinate and you leave them alone for a few days, in relatively low light levels at this time of year, if it's not been sunny weather, it might have been dark, grey days where there's not many hours of sunshine, and you've started these off maybe inside where they've not been in a sunny windowsill, they've just not got much good light at all. So they've germinated fine, but what they've done is they've tried to find sources of light and they've stretched and stretched trying to find this light, and they've just got very weak and spindly stems. You can see them here, they're flopping everywhere, they're really tall. So you might have thought, oh, my seedlings are doing really well, they've germinated, they're getting really tall, they're nice healthy plants, but actually these aren't doing so well at all. They are just very weak and they're not going to grow on very well from this state. So we need to do something with them, and you can try and rescue them at this stage. Ideally, we don't want to get them in this state in the first place, but if they have got to this stage, you can do something to help. So we'll look at that just now. So we've talked a little bit about when to sow your seeds here in Scotland. So we're in zone 8B and we don't get huge numbers of daylight until we're getting into March really. You can start to see the difference now. We have definitely got more light in the evenings as well as in the day. So now is a good time to start your seeds so that they won't do this. They won't need to be seeking some light source because it's already there. But if you started your seeds early in January or February, they would have really struggled with the light. There's not enough hours of daylight, we don't have that many sunny days, so we often have grey dark days, and there's just not enough light for them. As soon as your little seeds germinate, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get as much light as they can to help grow into sturdy little plants, and when they can't find it, they just bend their stems up towards any source of light that they can find, and that's when they start to get very weak, spindly stems. So first thing I would say is if you're in Scotland, zone 8B, and you don't have facilities at home with lots of grow lights that you can put your seedlings under for hours at a time in January and February, I would hold off sowing any seeds until March or April time. But if you have sown some seeds this year, like I did, and you've let them go and they're looking a little bit like this, what can you do to rescue them? Well, you can do something, and we're going to have a look at that just now. So the first thing is that these seedlings are in a shallow seed tray, so there's nowhere for the roots to go. They need to be in bigger pots at this stage. Don't want to put them in too big a pot because that's just too much of an area for them to fill. You need to pot them on into smaller ones, and then as their roots grow, you can then pot them on again into slightly bigger ones. So what I've done is I've just taken a mixture of seed compost and some vermiculite and mixed it together, and I've put it into 2-inch pots here, which I've put into a seed tray of water, so they can just soak up that moisture from the bottom, and then we'll have nice damp seed compost to transplant our little seedlings into. So wait for that to become moist on the top before you're ready to plant them in. So I've got my little 2-inch pot here, and it is just lifted out of the tray of water now so it can drain. And I've got my bamboo skewer here, and I'm going to make a hole in the center of my pot, and you can use your finger for this, you can use a pencil, whatever works for you. A nice hole in the middle of my pot now for putting in my seedling. So I've just prized out our little Phacelia seedling using my bamboo skewer to go underneath it in the seed tray. And I've just picked it up by its seed leaves. And this is quite important because our stem is so long and fragile and spindly at this stage. We don't want to hold it by the stem because it would very easily break and then we would lose that seedling. We also don't want to hold it by these new true leaves that are coming out onto our seedling, because these are the ones that are going to grow on our plant. So if you hold it by the seed leaves, these initial ones that come out when they germinate, then that helps protect the little seedling. We're just going to pop it into our plant pot here, which has its hole in it. And at this stage, you might need to use your finger or that bamboo skewer just to help tease it down into the hole, making sure that the stem is under the compost. So I'm just going to do that just now. Be very careful to be gentle at this stage so that you don't snap that stem. But you'll find that the stem will probably curl around a bit under the soil. As you go. And you can always add a little bit more of your compost if you need to, which I might do at this stage. Just to top up round about it. And just press gently round about so that it's nice and secure in its pot. So that's our little seedling there, all potted up. And as you can see, there is no stem now showing below our little seed leaves. So we've got our seed leaves at the surface of the compost, and we've got our true leaves just coming up here. And all of that stem is underneath now in the pot. And what will happen is that little roots will come out of some of that stem that's underneath, and the other roots at the base of the plant will grow on, and it should become nice and sturdy now. And you can see the difference here if I take out the next one that I'm going to transplant. Look at that long stem that is on that plant, and look how much sturdier already and happier that plant looks to be in that pot like that. So the most important thing I can do for this little seedling now that we've rescued it is to provide it with what it needs. So it is going to need a really good source of light to grow on to be a nice sturdy plant. And at the moment, the light levels in the day are improving. We're now definitely having some light in the evenings as well as the day. And overnight temperatures after a chilly week look like they're starting to improve. So this little seedling is going to come out here in the greenhouse because that's where I can give it maximum light. So if you've been growing inside in a room in your house, then this is the stage probably to go and have a look at where else you could put it. So do you have a conservatory that gets lots of light? Do you have a greenhouse? Do you have a cold frame outside that you could pop it in? Put it somewhere where it's frost free, but that it can get as much light as is possible. And if you haven't got a room that has got much daylight and you're really struggling to find a place to put it, then grow lights would be a good idea as well. The other thing that this little seedling is going to need is it's going to need some water as well. So when the soil dries out again in a few days time, just give it a water again. You can do the same thing. You can pop it into a seed tray full of water to soak up from the bottom, and then make sure you drain it, take it out, or you can just use a little watering can to water around about and make sure that it's nice and moist. But don't overwater it, just when the soil is starting to get dry. And it might need a little feed as well. I give some seaweed solution to my seedlings at this time of year, and that helps to give them some extra nutrition for growing on as well. So like the Phacelia, this Ami Graceland has got quite leggy too. So we're just going to see if we can get some into our little 2-inch pots as well. So what you need to do first of all is you need to take your bamboo stick or your pencil, and you just need to very gently tease underneath a few of your seedlings here. And you'll find that they come up fairly easily. And you just need to take it by its seed leaves and just tease it very gently out of the pot. This one's just got a couple of tiny roots here, and I think it's going to do a lot better in my pot over here. So I've got my little 2-inch pot, and I'm going to make a little hole here. You don't need to use individual pots here as well. You can use the cell trays that you can buy and just pop them on individually into that. And I've just popped it into the hole there, and I've just been very gentle, making sure I'm not touching the stem at all. And there it is, it's in there. None of that stem is showing now, and it's going to be able to grow on into a nice sturdy plant. Thanks for watching today. I hope you found it helpful knowing how to rescue your leggy seedlings, and have a go at home and see if it works for you. These are certainly all looking a lot healthier now. They are well supported in their little pots. They're potted on individually, so there's no competition between them, and their stems are all buried, so these will probably start forming more little roots underneath the surface. and they'll grow on to be nice sturdy looking plants. And we'll check back in a couple of weeks' time and I'll show you what these plants are looking like so that you can see that just burying that stem under that compost really does work and you can get nice sturdy plants back again.